In this video, I'm going to show you how to navigate through a spreadsheet and perform simple tasks. Spreadsheets are programs that are used to organize information and data and perform multiple calculations simultaneously. A spreadsheet is made up of rows, which go across the spreadsheet and are given numbers, and columns, which go up and down and are given letters. So this here is column H, and this here is row 3. Where a row and column meet, we have what is called a cell, and these are named for the row and column that the cell is in. For example, cell H3 is in column H and row 3. The entire collection of cells makes up what is called a worksheet. One spreadsheet document is made up of multiple worksheets that you can access by clicking on the tabs at the bottom of the page. There are many ways to input data into a spreadsheet, even without moving your mouse. If we wanted to change this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into A, B, C, D, E, F, we could just click A and then click Enter afterwards. Once I click Enter, it moves to the cell below. To move to the right, after inputting your data, hit Tab and it will move to the next cell on the right. You can also use the arrow keys to input information in any direction that you choose. There are many ways of making selections in a spreadsheet. Once you have cells selected, formatting is very similar to what you already have used in Word. If you press Ctrl A, it will select the current table that you are in. If you press Ctrl A a second time, it will select the entire worksheet. Let's make that yellow. I can then press Ctrl A and make the current table another background color like gray. You can also select by clicking and dragging. You can click and drag down. I'll make this text blue. You can click and drag right. I'll make this text red. Or you can do both at once to select a large range that spans multiple columns and rows. And I'll make this text green. Notice that when I'm selecting, the cursor is a white cross, showing us that we are going to be selecting cells. You can also make multiple selections by making a selection and then holding Control as you make additional selections. In Excel, you can select entire rows by clicking the row number on the left. Notice that the mouse cursor switches to an arrow pointing to the right. This means that when I click, it's going to select the entire row to the right. You can insert new rows by first selecting a row and going up to Insert on the ribbon. Or you can select a row, right-click, and click Insert on the dialog that pops up. If you want to insert multiple rows, you can select multiple rows by holding Control, and then either go to the ribbon and click Insert, or right-click and click Insert. And this will insert rows above each of those rows that was selected. Similar to rows, you can select entire columns by clicking on the letter at the top of the column. Notice that the cursor changes to an arrow pointing down to let you know that that is what is going to be selected. You can insert new columns similar to how you insert rows by right-clicking and clicking Insert, or by going up to the ribbon and clicking Insert Columns. You can adjust the width of a column by going up onto the bar and going right between two rows. You can see that the cursor changes to one where arrows are going out from the middle. If I click and drag out, it is going to make that column wider. If I want to set several columns to be the same width, I can select them all at once and then choose one, and it will make all of those columns that were selected the desired width. You can also auto-adjust widths and heights by going to the same place and instead of clicking and dragging, double-clicking. This will fit the size of the row to the largest piece of information in that column. You can delete entire rows and columns by either selecting them and going to delete on the ribbon, or right-clicking and clicking delete. You can also clear content from cells. This is different from deleting the cells because it just empties what's in them instead of actually removing what was there. To do this, you can either select the entire range that you want to clear, grab the drag handle on the bottom right, notice that the cursor is changed to a black cross, and drag up to the top left corner. Alternatively, you can select the entire range and go up to clear on the ribbon and clear all. Notice that using clear all removes formatting as well as content. You can also move entire blocks of cells in a spreadsheet. To do this, make a selection and put your cursor on the right, bottom, top, or left edge of the range. Notice that the cursor changes to one that is a move cursor. When the cursor is like this, you can click and drag and you will move the selection wherever you would like. This dragging can be used for small selections, but can also be used to drag entire rows and columns. This video has covered some of the basics of how to use a spreadsheet. We've gone over what rows are, what columns are, what cells are, what worksheets are, and how to access different worksheets in those spreadsheets. We talked about inserting information without a mouse that we can change going up and down or left and right. We discussed the different ways to select cells and how to apply basic formatting of text color and background color. We looked at how to select entire rows and entire columns, how to change the width of rows and columns, and how to auto-adjust the width and height. We also looked at how to insert and delete rows and columns, as well as how to clear information from inside of them. Finally, we looked at how we can move entire blocks of cells from one place to another by dragging.